pleases a larger number of people by having some cost savings. And that kind of goes along with the three-way tie, because Hainesville Fest could have an Oktoberfest theme, or it could, you know, certainly have a different variety of music. You could try to combine some of these and save money at the same time. Oh, this must be a spouse, because these two people have the same sentence here. It's just a repeat. Smaller, more frequent events would be nice, not just a large fest. We love the recent efforts to communicate with citizens, and also love the enhanced organizational efforts concerning community events. We think an Oktoberfest would be great, since no one around here does one, and the park is perfectly suited for this event. Make sure to advertise well, though, since most people, even some Grays Lake, don't even know where Hainesville is. We'd love to see the recent open house to view the new building to be turned into more of a touch a truck event. Augment Hainesville trucks with those from local businesses like Grower, Russo, Berger, and Curran, and bring over police cars, fire trucks, and ambulances from Grays Lake. Keep the food you served, and maybe have the profits go to Avon Food Pantry or toward a specific and identified purchase for the village. For example, I would buy more hot dogs plus give a donation if I knew the profits went to wood chip at their park or replace a basketball court. And of course, keep asking villagers for feedback. It's the best way not to waste time or money or unwanted events. Thanks for making efforts to make our village a community. That was a mouthful, wasn't it? It is. Smaller and more frequent events would be great. Mini Ravinia-style events at the park would be low cost to the village and allow families to carry some of the burden by bringing picnics, blankets, and chairs. Movies in the park sound great, but the mosquitoes would be feasting. Well, I think they would feast just as much as
They wouldn't be scared away by the music.
I'm glad the village is trying to improve communication with the residents and do things other larger villages do. Sunday is the best day of the week to have events because it is family day. And that has come up in the past, Sunday versus Saturday. Jellybone, Mark Yoder, etc. is a local blues jazz band that would be an excellent choice for music. Also, if an Oktoberfest is planned, I would suggest traditional German beer wine, not blunts, and brats from Tony's Butcher Shop, Grays Lake.
No, they don't like blunts or Tony's.
Yeah.
Keep it with a small budget, and that's for keeping Hainesville Fest. Thank you for gathering the input of residents. I like having the two-day community garage sale. Haven't yet attended any except the community-wide garage sale. I don't see it on the list, but I hope that is kept. And yes, we are keeping the garage sale. We don't really consider that like it isn't a community event, but it's not a fellowship event, I guess is what I want to say. Hello, Village of Hainesville. Linda, you're doing a great job. Well, thank you. Your efforts to make Hainesville a more delightful place to live really shows. The Spoletos hope to be able to attend an event this year. Well, that was nice they gave their name. Thank you, Dominic. To attend an event this year just to be able to catch up with good neighbors that we call our friends. That is what community is really all about, gathering with neighbors and having good times. More live music, build a band shell in the park like Grays Lake.
Is that what it calls it?
The community cleanup event was not very organized, at least for the residents on Holiday Lane. Not sure if it was scheduled through the village or through the management company. Well, Holiday Lane is the townhomes. So I'm not quite sure what that means, because we didn't go in the common areas of the townhomes. So that may be the confusion. Would love to have a Hainesville Run 5K, some type of icebreakers to get people to get to know their neighbors. Keep events free or low cost.
Can you do the icebreaker on Cranberry Lake?
With jet skis.
No, it was not.
No, he means ice breaking for fishing, ice fishing, I think.
No, I like jet skis.
I love this. None.
Like, you took the time and effort to actually type out.
No comments. It would be a good idea to proofread before sending out an email. There were several typos. Also, it would be good to blind copy so everyone's email addresses are not public to neighborhood. Don't stop the Hainesville Fest. Do the others if you wish, but keep the Hainesville Fest. And then finally, keep the fest alive. So we're going to go down the row one by one and get some feedback from the trustees, and then I'll even open it up to the floor out here.
Are you starting with me?
I'll start with you, Jen.
Well, I think I made my position fairly clear, but the survey also has kind of backed me up on that, because we do already have music at Hainesville Fest, so, which covers concert in the park, and Hainesville Fest, albeit by a very slim margin, was the top go-getter. So in my opinion, I think maybe a Hainesville Fest, although I think October would be too cold, and people are already back at school. I think maybe we could still do something with the food-wise to make it an October Fest kind of deal, but I still think we should keep our original date, August 27th, and do a traditional Hainesville Fest with maybe scale back or try to get more sponsors so we can have the same kind of events we had last year, save the, things that we've already talked about. Okay.
Georgianne, you're next.
Well, I think that we should scale back the costs of Hainesville Fest so that it's primarily, if not completely, donor sponsored and not spend our money. I think the idea that was expressed the other day of us doing the cooking would be okay. That would certainly cut down on the cost, and I don't think that would be a problem to have people pay a small fee for the hamburgers and stuff so that we could offset some of the cost. And I think we talked about having music at Hainesville Fest anyway, and maybe have one other concert, some other time. And if you think that somebody said that they thought we could manage a Oktoberfest in the new building, then maybe we should think about doing something like that as an indoor thing early in October, maybe.
I do love the idea of the touch truck at the fest, although I don't know if we should be tying up so many fire engines and squad cars for it, but it'd be nice to.
All right, Kevin Stern.
There's lots of squad cars and fire trucks. Trust me. I like the idea of touch a truck. I participated in the Grays Lake Park District touch a truck for many years, where I would bring a full-blown over-the-road tractor with a sleeper and then put a 40-foot steel container behind it, and the kids had more fun, I think, than anything else, just running up and down, banging on the walls of that steel container. So that would be a good thing. I'd like to keep Hainesville Fest the way it is. I don't know if we're ever going to be able to get it completely 100% funded, but a few dollars out of the village coffers, I think, in the efforts of good efforts towards, community spirit and fellowship is always dollars well spent in my book. And the thought of, doing Oktoberfest at the Public Works Building, while I was a kid growing up in Cedarburg, Wisconsin, the fire department always had their annual Oktoberfest or whatever type of party where they would park all the fire trucks outside and we take over the apparatus for it. We would have live polka bands and lots of beer and lots of food, and everybody got right home from the local cops because nobody's driving fire trucks home.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Maybe we could incorporate this old-fashioned games and things that you mentioned last meeting with Hainesville Fest. And some of those games that they had were pretty inane, and maybe instead of having, you know, a beanbag toss or something, we could organize awards and three-legged races and those kind of things, instead of having to spend a lot on getting these things delivered.
Okay, we're gonna keep going down, and then we'll go back up.
I'm a little reluctant to make a recommendation based on.
Microphone.
I'm a little reluctant to make a recommendation based on 77 surveys out of a village of just shy of 4,000 people. And yes, Hainesville Fest came out first with,
It's the only event we can get people to attend.
I'm sorry,
It's the only event we can get people to attend.
well, it's the only event that we've had for people to attend in the past. I mean, the Santa Claus at the hall and the concert this Christmas got a fair number of people to attend. I'm not opposed to Hainesville Fest. I just think right now it's basically the kids. And this community has a lot of other people other than kids. And at $10,000 worth of budget, that's a lot for, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, we had a couple hundred people attend Hainesville Fest, if I recall correctly, some of the stats. And it's a couple hundred out of 4,000. And that's fortunately due to Linda's fundraising, it cost the village approximately $6,900. That's a lot of money. So I'm still open to it, but I'm cheap.
Some would call you frugal.
So most cheap.
Yeah.
Gary, your turn.
Well, I'd be more in favor of something towards Hainesville Fest, mostly just because it's family, you know, it's that time of year when family can be there together. You're gonna have an Oktoberfest that almost have to be inside someplace. Or, you know, and how many kids do you want to bring? Oktoberfest with beer, and I don't know. But there has to be a better way of, like I say, you know, it does get rather expensive if you're going to have 200 people there. It's going to cost us $7,000. I mean, any event that you have, you know, you can't afford to stick that kind of money into it.
My big question is how much money do the neighboring communities spend on their festivals? I know Round Lake Beach has got their festival coming up, and
Well, what we run into with the beach and also Gray's Lake summer days is they're funded by the chamber. They're not funded by the village.
okay.
They're chamber or commerce events. So
Okay.
that's your explanation right there.
That explains why they can.
They don't spend a lot of money at all on full funded community events out of the village coffers. I mean, they do, holiday events, like we did this, Round Lake Heights does a very nice Easter event with the Easter bunny, but otherwise, the big events are through the chamber, anyway, so. Before we continue, I'm just briefly going to give the residents who are present a chance to approach the mic if you would like to add anything. If not, then we'll continue our discussion. Come on up, Ted.
While he's coming up, maybe the fact that people watch the video of the meetings, maybe they could send in emails if those that didn't respond to the survey.
Well, I'm going to make a sharp reply to that to you two when we get to that.
Okay.
Actually, as everybody knows, it was under my administration that we started the Hainesville Fest. And it did get going kind of slow, but it felt to be a well-attended